You're just starting out on your spiritual journey, I got 5 practices for you that I think you're going to want to hear. Hey guys, thanks for coming back. So I have 5 practices today that I think would help any beginner, just stuff that you really want to know more about. In my opinion, when you're starting out on your spiritual journey, what you're really going to want to do is you're going to want to find one main practice. And if you can stick to that one practice, you'll find incredible growth. In my opinion, when you're starting, it doesn't really matter which direction that you're moving in, as long as you're moving in the direction that you want to be. And each one of these practices will help you do that. All right, guys, so the first practice I got for you here is yoga, which is usually how most people today are getting into spirituality, especially Eastern spirituality. Yoga is everywhere. You got a yoga studio on every corner of every city in America. So there's a lot of people that know a lot about it that can teach you one-on-one, because you want somebody in your spiritual journey that can help you specifically. These videos are great, but they're not as powerful as having a single person that can teach you. Yoga will really help your body get tuned up. That's an important piece of the spiritual journey. You need to be healthy. The healthier that you are, the happier that you are. The happier that you are, the better that you can stick in the right frame of mind throughout the day to further yourself spiritually. One of the main things that yoga will help teach you is spiritual discipline, because what I've seen in people, it's a very different kind of discipline. Just because you have the discipline to get up and go to work every day doesn't necessarily mean you have the discipline to get up and do yoga an hour before you go to work. When you go to work, you have an instant payoff. You know, at the end of the week, you're getting money, and if you don't have that money, you're not going to eat this week. However, with yoga, it's a slower build to see the results, and it's a lot harder to get your reward systems to activate when you're doing something like yoga. Because yoga is something that we typically do in the morning or in the evening, and you do it for a set amount of time, it's very difficult to spread it out throughout the day. And what you really want to be doing is fixing your mind in a way that it is always focused on your spiritual journey, so it's always helping you progress. The second practice that I have for you is mindfulness. Now, mindfulness seems to have spread everywhere. You see billionaires talking about mindfulness, and I think that points to the power of mindfulness practices. The big benefit for mindfulness is that you can do mindfulness all throughout the day. There's a million different ways to do that type of meditation. Now, there's the basic meditation in the morning, where you sit down either in a chair, on the floor, on a pillow, and you do a meditation. You concentrate on your breathing. You are constantly returning to the breath. That's a very good practice, but the powerful part about it is that you can continue it throughout your day. As you notice that you're getting anxious, or your mind is wandering, or you're getting angry, you can always return to the breath. And that is more powerful to me. Something that sticks with you, something that when you're in the moment, you can then return to the breath and everything becomes okay. You can return to the moment. Now for the third practice. This has been one of my favorites for years. This is mantra. Mantra is an incredibly powerful spiritual practice, and like mindfulness, is something that you can do throughout the day. And depending on who you talk to, mantra in a way is mindfulness practice. If you have heard Ram Dass, or you've heard Krishna Das, or Raghu, or any of these people who met Neem Karoli Baba, you'll hear them talk about mantra. Every spiritual teacher has kind of a different view on what mantra is, right? When you're talking about the Neem Karoli Baba scene, a lot of what they're talking about is bringing the mind back to the name of God. Through mantra, you can use the many, many names of God to return yourself back to that point. Neem Karoli Baba, they used to say that the name of Ram never left his lips. He was constantly saying Ram. There was a story that I had once heard. Somebody found his notebook, and it was Neem Karoli Baba's notebook, and it just said Ram, 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 pages and pages of Ram. And he was one of the greatest saints of India, and really inspired a lot of these Westerners to bring Hinduism back to the United States. So try and do mantra, do a round of it on your mala in the morning, and then continue it through the day. When you get anxious, when you get angry, whenever you just can't take it anymore, bring your mind back to the mantra. And by doing that, you'll create a sense of serenity and peace. It's a wonderful practice. Now for number 4, which is prayer. prayer has such a different view in every different religion. So I'll kind of make my own definition for it. Basically, when I'm talking about prayer, I am talking about communicating with a deity in your own words, right? So what you're doing is a lot of the time you're choosing your deity and you are communicating with it. In the morning or in the evening, you can do a prayer, whether it's to Ram, whether it's to Hanuman, whether it's to Chenrezig, whoever it may be. Just choose a deity and speak to it. And that singular practice can be very powerful, but to really make it impactful, you have to keep your mind on your chosen deity, on your breath, on whatever it is throughout the day, right? And one of the ways that I found to do this is you literally keep them in the room with you. So whatever you're doing, just in your mind, imagine that they're standing right next to you, or they're standing behind you, or they're in the corner. This has a very interesting effect, as you can understand, because when you start to mouth off to somebody, or you start to say some just erratic shit, you remember, oh, but Baba's back there. Baba saw me doing that one, didn't he? So it's a powerful way to take prayer and to move it throughout your day. And now for the fifth and final practice. The fifth practice is learning and study. What you're doing right now. Listening to spiritual people talk about spiritual shit. That's the most important thing. Because in Western society, we don't value this kind of information. We don't seem to care about our spiritual growth. Now, there are some people that do. I'm not talking about everybody, but as a culture, we seem to be really focused on feeling better, but we don't want to take this route to feel better. To me, it's a bizarre thing, because this is something that people have been doing for thousands of years. I don't know why we don't seem to be as focused on it. Either way, as a Westerner, it's very important to educate yourself. Now, again, you can, a couple times throughout the day, you have a study period. And this may be a period where you work on memorization, you work on working these different things in. You may take a notebook and you may write stuff down. But we consume content all day long. Your Instagram, your Facebook, your YouTube, which you can like Bear.Of.Wands on every one of them, just throwing that out there. They're all filled with all this junk. They're filled with the politics and the TV shows and the whatever else that we like. Not that that's bad, but if we can take those and replace them with spiritual information, then all throughout the day we will be reminded of our spiritual journey. All right, guys, now I got a tip for you. So I know that you're probably really fired up about going and being spiritual and fighting the bad guys and fighting the good fight. But more than likely what's going to happen is the first day you're going to practice. Maybe after this video, you're going to go and try some of these. The next day, you're going to try a different one. The third one, you're going to say that tomorrow you're going to try the fourth one. And the day after that, you're going to tell people about how on the first day you did a practice and it was super cool. And boy, did that feel good. And now you're not doing your practice. And it's super difficult to stick with it, and I understand that. So one of the ways in my life that I have found to kind of wrestle my mind into submission is I play a word game. I turn my shoulds into wants. I don't know if you've ever heard this, but don't should yourself. Well, if you don't do that, then what language are you using to yourself? Well, I've replaced shoulds with wants. So when I say, oh, I really should be doing my practice. Oh man, I should have done that. Oh man, I should have said a mantra right there. What I say is, oh, I want to do my practice. I wanted to do my practice this morning. It's too bad that I'm an idiot. I wanted to do the right thing in that situation. In the future, I want to do my practice. I want to grow on my spiritual path. I want to become enlightened. It's pretty powerful. I know that we spend a lot of time trying to just wrestle that monkey mind into something that we can use, wrestle it into submission. Hopefully that will help. I hope these practices help. Please try them. Every one of them is powerful. They've been tested for thousands of years. So please, please give them all a shot. Remember to keep it throughout the day. Whatever practice you pick, find a way to do it throughout the day, because that makes it 10 times more potent. Guys, I hope this was helpful. Please remember, if you want to see more stuff like this, you have to subscribe, you have to like, you have to do all the stuff to let me know. You have to do the stuff to let YouTube know that you like me and that you want to see more of me and you're going to stay on the platform. If you guys want to get readings, hit me up on Instagram or Facebook, the Tibetan Astrology, Instagram or Facebook. You know all this stuff. I love you guys. Say your mantra, take your vitamins, stay great.